Today's Sims 4 build is gonna be weird. The spooky season is among us, and I want to build something strange, something out there and bizarre. And with the release of Beetlejuice earlier this month, I've seen a lot of people asking for a Tim Burton inspired build. Tim Burton movies are known for their whimsical, gothic, and playful styles, so I want to capture some of the aesthetics of some of the popular Tim Burton movies in this Sims 4 build today. So we're gonna be building here in Copperdale today, and our exterior will be inspired by Beetlejuice. But for the exterior, I want to build the original Beetlejuice house because obviously it's classic. And if you're unfamiliar, I'm going to be giving brief summaries for each movie, but I'm going to try not to spoil it, so it's going to be a short, brief summary. So the story of Beetlejuice revolves around a recently deceased couple who are stuck haunting their old residence. When new tenants buy the home, the couple attempts to scare them off to no success. These attempts summon the help of a rambunctious troublemaker ghost named Beetlejuice. This is what the house looks like on the exterior, so we're gonna try and bring this to life in The Sims 4. So starting off with our shell, we're gonna start by picking this thing apart. I know there's a tower at the front, so that's gonna be our starting point, and it's also the highest point, so 4 floors is the highest we can go and will go today. From there we can bring it out a little this way, and then it looks like there's maybe a bay window right here, and we can bring it out a little more. We've got another bump out to this side and one in the back. By the way, we're building the pre-renovation house, and I've been trying to find as many pictures as I can of each side of the house just to make sure we can really get a true representation of the entire thing. Okay, so for now, this is our shell. It looks a little weird, but let's bring it up on a foundation. I'm gonna bring it up pretty high because we're gonna use some terrain later, and next we're going to start to roof it. So let's actually start with the tower again. So I'm gonna take a half-hipped roof, I'm gonna add it onto the edge, and then I'm gonna bring it in so it's 1 tile wide, and we'll just cover this side here. I'm gonna bring out the adjuster, and I want this to be pretty steep, so I'm just gonna raise it up like that. Then I'm gonna take that roof piece and copy it, and we're gonna put it around every side of this tower. We'll add some roof paint, and it looks like there's some detailing at the top of the tower, so I'm gonna use this item here from Strangerville, and we're gonna raise this up so it's gonna be on top of those roofing pieces we added. Obviously doing the same thing to every side. From there, we're gonna take a gabled roof piece, and I'm gonna add that onto the front part. I'm also gonna raise the angle up, and we'll bring that all the way to the back like this. I won't lie, this roofing is a little chaotic. I just built a room on the 3rd floor so that I could go in with a half gabled roof and add just a little roof piece coming out of there. Then it looks like there's another half gabled roof piece just coming out of the side, and then there's another one coming through the side like this. Obviously, since it's a Tim Burton movie, the house has to look a little weird. And by the way, this movie in general is very strange. Like, I remember when I was a kid, they would play Beetlejuice on like kids networks. Like, you could randomly just catch the movie playing, and they had a show, I think, too. I actually watched this for the first time as an adult, like not too long ago, and I was like, there is no way this is for kids. There's no way kids are watching this and not getting crazy nightmares afterwards. I have not yet seen the new one, so I can't speak on that, but the old one is crazy. We're almost done with our roofing. I'm just adding roof paint, and there is also some patio roofing coming out at the front as well. I'm also just adding a fence at the front here with some columns, and there's a side entry over here too, so I'm just gonna add a fence there as well. So far this is what we got. We're going to do our terrain before we add the stairs, and most of the terrain is just gonna be here, so I've raised it up a little, and then we're gonna use the flatten terrain option, and we're just gonna flatten this out a little bit so Sims can actually walk on there. It's gonna be like a path leading down, so I'm just gonna flatten the terrain here a little, and I'm actually just gonna use some terrain paint as a marker for where things are gonna go. So this here will be our driveway. We'll have a path leading up to this entry at the side, and now we can add our stairs. So adding them at the front, I'm just using base game for this, and for the wallpaper, I'm using this worn looking wood from Horse Ranch. What is going on here? Look at my filter. Why is it doing that? Oh, something is glitching. I updated my game and my mods, I swear. Thing to change. Okay. Abort. Oh god. Save. Anyway, next we're gonna add windows, and I think I'm gonna use Love Struck for this because I like the variety they have, and they're similar enough to what I'm looking for this, but maybe we can combine that with Cottage Living because I need a circular window here and also a window like this for the side. Yeah, I think the Love Struck ones are gonna look good on this. We need a red door, which this one from base game is a pretty good match. I'm gonna add this door from Laundry Day over to the side, and our windows are now done, but I need to build a garage door. The garage door is actually down here, and since this is a foundation, I can't just go and add a garage door like I normally would, which means we're probably gonna have to make it. So right now I'm searching through debug to see if there's anything we can use to make for this. And I found this debug fence piece from Cats and Dogs. I'm gonna try and size this up and see if I can make it work. I don't know, this might be a little big though. We could try this and we raise it up and we add 2 of the debug sticks to it. It's gonna be a little bit of a smaller garage door than I wanted, but that's okay. And then I've grabbed this random debug sign and I'm turning it around just so I can make it look like this is the paneling on the garage. Okay, so we have our garage door. This is coming together, but I wanted to find their yellow car and I think I can find it in Cottage Living debug. Or maybe it's Get Together. One of these packs is a car that looks just like it. Okay, that's not it. Okay, I found the car. I was right. It was in Cottage Living debug. I also started adding more landscaping around, which honestly the actual house doesn't have a whole lot. So I tried to use some like grassy landscaping, maybe something that looked a little more overgrown. And I also added some pumpkins on the hill. This is how it's looking over to the side for now. And I actually just planted this cowshed like off the actual lot because in the movie you can always see these cows just walking beside the house. But we're almost done here. I do have a couple more things that I want to add though, and that is going to be a giant sand snake. So to do that, I like to come onto the gallery and search up cow plant. You can filter it by rooms and then you'll get a bunch of cow plants that are actually grown. You can't find these in debug, and unfortunately we need one that is dead. So we're gonna download this guy. We'll delete the room around it and we don't need the planter either. So we'll just take him out of there and we're gonna size this up so it's huge. I want it to be like overlooking the house pretty much, and I'm gonna rotate him so he's literally like overlooking the house. This is like those giant skeleton Halloween decor things that you see at like Costco, but worse. Is that too big? Maybe we can shrink them a bit. And then I was looking for a way to add stripes to it, and I came across this horse ball. So I'm literally going to be sizing this up and trying to align the stripes like the best I can. Obviously this is not going to be perfect, and I'm just gonna bring this all the way along the like branch of the cow plant, just like stacking these on top of each other, but then obviously we'll leave the head part exposed. So there in the back we have our sand snake looking absolutely crazy in the backyard there. But the final thing I want to add is a graveyard, and obviously this is not actually located in their backyard, but we have this space, we may as well use it. I'm getting this massive sign from Bowling Night and I'm gonna raise it up. I'm changing the lighting of this to red, and then High School Years debug has this sign which I thought we could try and use to make it look like the Beetlejuice sign with the arrow and it's pointing to the grave beside. Listen, it's not perfect, but we're using what we can here. And beside it we'll add like a shovel. You guys, I changed all the lighting to red and look how cool it looks. This is it at nighttime. I'm not going to keep all of the lighting on the inside all red like that, but I do think it looks very cool like that. Here it is in the daytime without all the red lights. I'm kind of glad we added a little extra something on the side there because we will not be doing a proper Beetlejuice room on the inside, but how cool did this turn out? Okay, so with that, we're ready to go inside. This is blinding. I gotta change the lights. All right, so coming inside our layout, we're gonna have kitchen and pretty much just an open entry area right here. We'll have a bathroom here, dining, and a living room. Then coming upstairs, we'll have a hallway and 3 bedrooms up top. So let's start off over here with our kitchen. And this one will be inspired by Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. In this movie, Charlie Bucket wins a golden ticket to the tour of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory alongside 5 other children. The inside of the factory is a whimsical, magical place, but children who don't follow the rules inside will suffer some very strange consequences. All right, so I want this room to be modeled after the factory room, like the one with the chocolate river and they get on the boat, you know? So everything in here is going to be green. And I wanted this room to be so big because I want to build a river going all the way through. So I'm just bringing it all the way over like this. And there's actually a brown water paint called Murky Murk Murk, and that's going to be our chocolate. Do not read the description, it's disgusting. I'll add brown wallpaper and flooring in there to make it look even more chocolatey, and we'll also add a brown pool trim. I really want to build like a funky bridge going over here, but I can't add platforms going over a pool, so maybe we can just carve out like a walkway. Then using these from the Riviera Retreat kit, I'm just gonna build a pathway going through. Okay, so we have our path going over our bridge, and we need to find a boat. We're not gonna find one that looks like the boat in the movie, but we can get like the next best thing. I'm just gonna shrink it. This is from For Rent Debug. I'll see if I can find something something better as we go through. But before we add our kitchen essentials, we need to add in all of the weird stuff. We need to set the scene here. I'm using these from Debug. I think I'm gonna add these as columns on like every wall piece. Okay, and perfect, they don't go through the floor. What else do they have in this room? They have candy canes, which we don't have in The Sims, but we can add items with similar colors, like these mushrooms I think could work, especially leading into our next room. These are gonna make sense here. They have a ton of funky weird trees as well. Like we could even add one of these from Outdoor Retreat. We can add in some of the alien Debug trees from Get to Work. And I did want to bring in a bit of the industrial here too, since this is supposed to be a factory. So we'll add a few pipes on the wall. There is a waterfall in this room, so I'm gonna use this as gonna be like our chocolate waterfall thing. And I was thinking we could definitely add a cupcake machine. Ooh, for the Oompa Loompas, we could add gnomes. I'm gonna add a bunch of gnomes in here. They're gonna be everywhere. Oh, and this one can drive the boat. Let me just get him in there. We need a better boat. This guy cannot be the captain of such a dark, scary boat, although it does check out. That boat scene did scare me pretty bad as a kid in the original. For the kitchen stuff, I guess we can keep it green and red. I might have to move this over a little bit though to make sure Sims can get back here. And we do have a little door to worry about for the bathroom on that side too. I'm using a country kitchen fridge. We can add the oven in the back there. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to move over our river a little bit, I think. Oh, and actually Lovestruck has these chocolate covered strawberries that we're gonna add all over the place. Combined with this one here too. Those are actually little truffles. Those are perfect. All right, so here we have our Charlie and the Chocolate Factory inspired room. I'm gonna put it into live mode so things start moving around. I think it looks so cool in here. We've got a little bit of the industrial with all those pipes. This is how it looks coming in to look at the kitchen. I added all of those little lights around, hopefully giving candy cane. We have our cupcake machine over to the right. Completely unnecessary now that we have like a full-blown kitchen, but this is what I added for our kitchen. We do have a small dining table here, even though I'm planning on doing a big one, but there we go. That's what we got for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So moving on from here, let's go and do Alice in Wonderland. Alice is now a teenager, but she doesn't remember her previous time in Wonderland. When she finds herself back in Wonderland after chasing a rabbit into a hole, she is reunited with her old friends and learns it's now her job to stop the evil Red Queen. So I actually want to try and make this dining setup that they used for one of their promotional pictures. It's basically going to consist of a bunch of different multicolored dining tables, and we're gonna make one big table like this. We can mix and match them, like we'll bring in this from base game. We can even add one of these tables from Spooky Stuff. And for the wallpaper, I'm gonna try and use this here from the storybook kit. I'm gonna add a big chair in the back here. This is like the main chair. That one won't be functional, so I'm just like placing it further back a little bit. And then I'm gonna add a bunch of mismatching chairs to the rest of the dining table. I love whenever I get to do an Alice in Wonderland inspired build in The Sims 4. I've done a couple over the years now, especially when we did that Ever After series. There were a few included there, but there's our table. I'm gonna add some vine curtains in the background, and on our table we are just gonna add as much tea clutter as we can find. And there's actually a lot of options. There's some base game stuff, Cottage Living has some, For Rent has that elephant teapot that I love. I'm also just gonna add a bar cart in the background here from Vintage Glamour, and My Wedding Stories has some really nice tea clutter, and a lot of the pieces are separated too, so you can add the actual cups and the lids and even just singular teapots. So there's all our tea clutter. I added some mushrooms in the back, and I noticed there's also some layered rugs here, so I'm gonna add a few of them underneath. Okay, so there's our dining area. I love it. I feel like the wallpaper, even though it doesn't match perfectly, it still kind of pulls it together. And then on this side, I'm just gonna make a living area that's similar to that aesthetic. I'm gonna use a darker grass flooring so I can make a checkered pattern. For my couch, I'm gonna use this one here from Vampires. These blue chairs actually come from Vampires, but I feel like they match that perfectly. Let's add a coffee table. Of course, we're gonna need a white rabbit, so I'm gonna add that. And I also want to add some red roses everywhere. I'm actually gonna add them on top of these base game pedestals. We can add some clocks on the walls. I'm actually gonna add a few of these, and I'm also gonna add an easel over here in the corner. So this is how our living room turned out. This looks so cute. I love how it ended up being kind of pastel in here. I added some plants in the background, some more mushrooms. Over to the side, we have an easel and just like a locker bookshelf. And of course, we have our dining tea area. This is how it's looking on the bottom floor so far. We still have a bathroom back there, but I think I'm gonna skip past that that and go upstairs next. So next we're gonna start off with a bedroom, and this one's gonna be for the corpse bride. Victor and Victoria are set to wed in an arranged marriage when things go sideways. Victor accidentally says his wedding vows to Emily, the corpse bride. Emily brings him down to the land of the dead to marry him, and Victor must find a way to get back to marry Victoria. So this entire movie is pretty much in black, white, and blue. So I'm gonna do my Florian wallpaper, and then we're gonna go and set the lights to blue. So again, don't really want to spoil anything in this movie, but I'm gonna be building this as if it were Emily's dream bedroom. Like if she got her way, this is what her bedroom would look like. I'm aiming for like a gothic romantic aesthetic, so I'm adding rose petals on the floor, but I do also want a forest element. So I'm gonna use these trees again from Outdoor Retreat, changing those lights to blue. And in the movie, she's seen wearing a torn dress, so I'm adding these end tables here from Spooky Stuff. I'm also gonna use the bigger one somewhere here as well. And one of the first things I thought of when I was prepping for this was this picture here from Love Struck. I also wanted to add an archway right by the door, so as soon as anybody enters this room, you're automatically under the arch getting married. Oh, also from the artist kit, we have this vase with flower petals that have like fallen. These are perfect for this room. And something about this movie hurts my heart. This one is so tragic to me. I always felt so bad for Emily. I just want the best for her. That's why this whole bedroom is revolving around her. I'm also opening up Crystal Creations so I can find a ring. So there we go. And then I was also just gonna fill this thing up with jewelry as well. We could also add some of the debug heart crystals in here and even some of the skull ones. Oh, we also need a dog bed. Oh, I can't, my heart. Over to this side, I'm gonna add a stone bench from Vampires. We'll use the Spooky Stuff curtains. Yes, we are romanticizing the Spooky Stuff pack. I'm also bringing in this table, and Lovestruck also has these really pretty blue candles that I'm gonna put like everywhere. I'm gonna surround this archway with them. I'm also gonna be using some of the candlesticks. We could even use some of the gravestones, and I'm gonna size up some more flowers from Lovestruck just all around the room. I need a dresser, so I'm gonna use a small one in the corner from Base Game. This just might be the most beautiful room I've ever made. Look at it from this side. I sized up some cottage living flowers to the left there. I added some more flowers near the mirror and more candles. Like looking at it from here, I feel like we just captured this aesthetic so well. I even added this picture from Werewolves over there, which is like the girl and she's scratched out, and I'm just imagining that to be Victoria. Look, I'm Team Emily, okay? Here's another angle of it. I'm sorry, I just can't stop looking at it. It's so pretty. I love it. We're not gonna top this, but let's move on to the next one. And the next one's going to be for Edward Scissorhands. Edward Scissorhands was created by an inventor who unfortunately died before giving Edward hands. The gentle, misunderstood humanoid is taken in by a suburban family where he is able to show his kindness, creativity, and even love. Unfortunately, things eventually take a turn for the worst for Edward. So this one again, gonna be a little gothic, maybe a little industrial. Like I was picturing this bed from the industrial loft kit, but we're also gonna have a lot of skill items in here. Like I wanted to add this bonsai tree, and I was actually considering making like a tiny garden here, and we can section it off with these rocks, and we can even add in a couple of these in here too. This is another story that just gets me. It's so sad. Why do the monsters never win? So again, this is gonna be a bedroom for Edward. We need to add in some ice sculptures. I wish we had some different ones, like a variety of them. I mean, there is a snowflake one, and then underneath we could add all this confetti from Modern Luxe, like as if that's the snow. I don't know if I'm gonna find scissors, but I can definitely find an abundance of swords and knives. So I'm gonna add a few of those like near the bed. But we could also use these plants as decor, which are the same ones that I used downstairs, so they're still gonna match. I'll add a dresser right here from Horse Ranch, and I'm actually gonna try and bring in a bit more of an industrial vibe again, this time using these here from Journey to Batu. There's a Journey to Batu couch we could add, and like this crate rug from Get Famous. So after everything, this is how the Edward Scissorhands bedroom turned out. I tried adding some more like industrial decor in the background. To this side, we have our ice carving station, which I wish this was functional. I feel like that'd be so fun. And over to this side, we have the hairstyling station. Here's how it looks from the top. And after this, we have one more bedroom to do. So the next one is going to be for the Nightmare Before Christmas. Jack Skellington is the pumpkin king of Halloween Town, but when he stumbles across Christmas Town, he decides decides that maybe he wants to take over that holiday instead. I feel like it's always a debate whether this movie is a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie. I have always been on the Halloween side, but we're going to split this room in half. So half of it will clearly be Halloween themed and the other half will be all Christmas decor. This rug is perfect to represent Jack Skellington, and the bed reminded me of the swirl cliff that they stand on. We need pumpkins everywhere and Skelly Bear, obviously. And I also want to use some new items from the storybook kit. On this side, we'll be using the Christmas tree from Seasons, along with other Seasons decor, and we can also use some items from the holiday pack. And here is our Nightmare Before Christmas inspired bedroom. Apparently Tim Burton wasn't the director of this one, it was actually Henry Selick. Although Tim wrote this movie, but I figured this one is so iconic, I did want to include it anyway. I also tied together the hallway just bringing in some similar aesthetics, and I did something similar in the bathroom downstairs, mostly bringing back that Corpse Bride vibe. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Tim Burton inspired build in The Sims 4, and if you guys liked the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what room was your favorite. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.